All right, I'm here. I'm just trying to respond to the emails that I got. All right. So if you're just joining, we're gonna meditate in a second. Just want to try to make sure that I get replies out to everybody that reached out. If you have clicked on the bell, you might have gotten a notification when I went live. So, and today has been sort of like hit the ground running kind of day for me. So, I normally try to start early. All right. So, yeah. So, Brian, it's a small group because I just created the link legitimately like 75 seconds ago. Hello to Aimless and Fred. Thank you for the email reminder and thank you for confirming that you can hear me. Hello, Bill J. And Ruth. Hopefully folks will filter in here as we get rolling. So it's been a good but busy day. So yeah, and I appreciate Moira being here as well. Yeah, it's January's been a wild month so far, and this is where the whole meditation practice kind of like shines in like being able to have these moments where I can pause and be like, wow, like this is a lot. And things. So bonjour, Paul. Thank you for the email. So all the folks, pretty much the group that's here is primarily the group that emailed me and said, hey, is there a link today? Is something going on? Everything okay? So thank you for checking in. Thank you for nudging. Welcome, Bill B. I did not get a chance to really get away. Normally I get away from work around lunchtime, and like my lunchtime was like, I'm going to eat something as quickly as possible so I can get back to helping fix a production issue. So, yeah, it's, I am feeling that prompt that I often give where it's like when you stop for the day and you have these moments of like everything is kind of like settling in. That's yeah, that is cold, Paul, wearing hat indoors. Yeah, and Saban isn't here for us to point out that this morning, like, here, so I can't think of maybe it's -2 Celsius. Trying to think, do the math quick. Maybe this morning it was -3 Celsius, 27 Fahrenheit. For us, that is really, really cold. So we have friends who have protection on their pipes, but the pipes burst, and so yeah, like it's a definite thing. Yeah, Colette, good. My girlfriend didn't know about the Wabi Sabi clock, and so she was listening in on Sunday, and and she was like, "Wait, you made a YouTube video that's just the clock?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did, and it's awesome." So yeah, I'm gonna do my best to. I got Ruth promoting it to Kevin. So that's awesome. All right. So if you have no idea what's going on and you somehow found yourself here and dialed in, welcome. My name is Andrew. I'm a Unified Mindfulness Meditation Coach, or certified through Unified Mindfulness. Folks will most folks will know me as the moderator and sometimes guest host for the Do Nothing Project on Sunday nights at 8 Eastern. You can find that on youtube.com/@JeffWarrenMeditation, I think. Or it is linked on Homebase with Jeff. And then for the 7, 8, 9 of you who are subscribed to my Substack, which I don't even have, welcome, Gabrielle. You're actually really not late because we started late. And welcome. Glad you made it. I did post something recently to Substack, and I said earlier I said month and a half ago or something like that I was going to try to start using that more. So, oh gosh, Paul, -18. So I got family that live in the Minnesota area, and I think the feels like temperature was like -38 or something like that. Which is just and minus, when you're at -38, like you don't even have to say if it's Celsius or Fahrenheit. You're so close to the point where they're equal. So yeah, that's like, wow. So what do we have going on for today? We're gonna have a 25-minute sit. It'll have light guidance. I won't probably be able to get away with too much, or I won't try to give you too much guidance, because I'm gonna have to settle in myself since I just like stopped. And I feel like if you ever have a hose going and you like quick turn it like that, the noise that makes. Alligator minds. And I don't, so I will play around with a little bit more, because I don't know that so last week I talked about sort of lantern, this idea of like a lantern diffused wide angle awareness, and then a spotlight. And so I believe where I got that from, it's a common metaphor for the attention that we have available. But I think Amishi Jha, who I think is a collaborator for the Healthy Minds Institute in Madison, Wisconsin, that's at the University of Wisconsin, uses it as a very, very highly or prominently uses it. But it's one of those things where you'll see that as a metaphor like very, very often used. And so for guidance today, if you want to use the spotlight, totally up to you, but I'm going to offer a little bit of that wider sort of the wider lantern awareness. So that's where we're headed. Thanks again for everyone showing up late after I didn't get my thing out. Yeah, I appreciate that. So 25 minutes on the clock. Once I finally get that working, and all right, here we go. So I'll invite the bell. Much louder than I expected. All right. So we'll just begin by sort of acknowledging that we're landing here right now in the moment, which sounds more epic than it really is. It's sort of very natural and ordinary. So as I often mention, I'll focus on the seated posture, but you could be lying down, standing, or walking. And really, we're just endeavoring to be upright without being uptight. ju- just a quick head nod of acknowledgement to what the state of the body is. So as I pointed out, for me, I've got a lot of nervous energy and all of the things that would be very common or natural to coming from a sort of frazzled, busy, energetic state to sitting. And a few deliberate breaths. Slow and low is the tempo that we're going for. Breathing in through the nose allows us to slow that breath down. Breathing low into the belly. And then when we have the breath turn around and exhale, seeing if we can extend and lengthen that. So not heaping expectations on our experience, but often a few slow and low breaths will kind of shift the energy in the body. I'm just highlighting that if you have your own practice, you can be doing that and just allowing my cues to be in the background. But really beginning from this place of sort of just naturalness of sitting and knowing that you're sitting. And so you may start to have the sort of bleed over from my environment into yours. So hearing the clock or the computer fans. So we can allow that to be in the background, or we can use that to work with as our home base. We can always work with sounds. So offering just a few thoughts about, or a few cues around the lantern metaphor that we're using. So we could use that from focusing on body sensations and, in essence, holding the whole body in our concentration. can use sort of wide angle of sounds around us. In either direction or either option, we can use that. Just in essence, we can use the noting and labeling. So for the body, it would be feel, would be the label for when we note the entire body all at once. And for sounds, HEAR, hear, would be the label we would use to support our noticing of sounds. And the last little tweak for sounds I'll offer is just this notion that you're hearing kind of naturally all of the things. You're not necessarily isolated to the clock or isolated to a particular sound in your environment. You're listening to everything. So I'll let you explore either of those options for a bit and check in a little later. And just a reminder that when you're kind of operating from this lantern wide angle of concentration, you might get pulled away a little more. So that could be frustrating. Just to normalize that you might get distracted and being able to like reset, begin again. So you're welcome to continue on with the technique. That's your choice. But I'm offering the notion of just putting our technique aside and moving into do nothing. So we've put the technique off to our left side and we're just going to not do the technique. What does that really look like? It looks like just allowing ourselves to be, not micromanaging any of our experience, but just allowing whatever comes up to come up. And the pith of the do nothing instruction is to allow whatever arises to happen. And if you notice an intention to control your attention, let it go. And if that happens 2 or 3 times, then just leaning into the fact that whatever the attention is doing, whatever the mind is doing, is kind of its desired operating mode at the moment. invite the bell to signal the end of our time. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for your patience. And thank you for making it here this evening. Questions, reports, anything like that, I can offer hopefully some sort of response that might be helpful in chat. On the Do Nothing front, Jeff will be back on Sunday. Trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, sometimes it does go quickly. Tonight felt a little faster than usual, so I'm with you on that one, Aimless. And then thank you for that, Fred. Very much value the time together, especially a small group or otherwise. So, and then I didn't get the email out in the form that I wanted to. So I think everybody here is, or most of you are likely getting that. But putting in the email if you want me to add. It's just it's a manual list at the moment. The list is small enough that I can send it through my email provider without any issues at the moment. So another kudo for smaller another kudo for smaller groups. And then next week I'll include, for the folks that haven't found my Substack, I'll include that next week. I think a number of you have had a chance to connect on Substack. Part of that is, one of the things is I've been trying to just kind of understand the platform, and it may actually fit a bunch of the things that I was trying to figure out how to do. So that's cool. And then I'm sort of seeing Jeff now having a year on the Substack platform with Homebase with Jeff. So yeah, I think you can do that. You can look by my name, and I would dig up the quote really quick. I jokingly called it some dash thing, as a play on nothing. Again, working title, kind of like the More Than Maybe title for this, but I'm the kind of person who will fixate on trying to find the perfect title. And then I won't do stuff. So I'm just gonna go ahead and come up with something as the title, and then part of that is a nod to I think it's Rosanna Dana. It's always something, and that gets mentioned in the Oliver Burkeman most recent meditation for mortals. If I were to plug something, Oliver Burkeman was interviewed on the Tricycle podcast recently. A friend of mine pointed it out. And James Sheehan, I think, is the editor of Tricycle, and Sharon Salzberg will co-host with him. And Oliver Burkeman was on, and it's kind of surreal to have him talking to Sharon Salzberg about the meditation topics. So yeah, I agree, Ruth. Rosanna Dana was Rosanna Dana was an incredibly hilarious character. So yeah, so it's, in essence, it's not one thing, it's another, and it's always something, and it really is true. So yeah, so I'm trying to learn a bit on how to do some of the creative things that I want to do without beating myself up about it when I don't get them done in the time I think that they quote unquote should happen. So that's a little bit of that. There's a duo, sort of creative coaching duo in Austin area that's doing some interesting stuff. So I just was plugging a little bit of what I learned from them on that front, and more to come there. And then mentioned in there is I'm trying to put together a 31 days of mindfulness sort of self-paced thing that would be a march for more mindfulness, mainly in the notion of a lot of times we have a big goal at the beginning of the year and then all sorts of stuff happen, like is happening right now. And then you find yourself and all of a sudden it's April, and there isn't a sort of natural break to be able to kind of reorient and get a little more mindfulness in. So a march for mindfulness seems like another good pun, and our march for more mindfulness. And I'm kind of looking at like what are some of the framings. I had someone reach out recently who I know from my eons ago. I haven't heard from him in a long time, but I know from when I was at the university, and then I was a coworker of theirs at a company here in town for a while, and they were asking me a little bit about what are some initial resources for mindfulness and meditation, and often that answer is always evolving for me. And so I was like, oh, well, I have some topics for this March thing that I can share in some partial draft forms, and provide that. So that was a bit of a jumpstart for this, and so I want to try to make that a little more available. And I have a feeling that to a certain extent, having that 31-day frame and being able to have it available in March, we'll see. Hopefully it'll work out. So that's the little plug that's at the end of the Substack post. So those draft versions or the early initial versions are things that I'm going to try to get up and on there. So we are dangerously close to the top of the hour. Thank you, everyone who was able to show up. And then thank you to everyone who is watching the recording of this. I suspect we'll have a few extra recording folks. And then my last thing is I will make sure to have the reminder and the link out on Tuesday. So thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your week. See you on Sunday.